good day, learners. Welcome to another session. In this session, we'll be learning how to determine limits and also test for continuity. So, this forms part of the first part of calculus. It introduces us to calculus. So, if we can check number A, right? Number A, we have to solve a limit as x approaches 4. So, as x approaches 4, so how do we solve this limit? So, in a place of x, you can just substitute 4 and see what you get. So in a place of 4, you can just in a place of x, you can just substitute 4, right? And then use your calculator and determine what you get, right? So if you use your calculator, you'll have 16 here minus this will be 20, and then plus 6, right? So your final answer here will be 2, right? So that will be your answer for the first one. So for the second one, which is number B, right, we have to determine the limit as x approaches -1 to this expression here. But if you can quickly look, in a place of x, when we just substitute here, on our denominator we'll have -1 plus 1, and then on our numerator we'll have -1, and then we cube this, and then we have plus 1. So if you can check closely, your final answer will be -1 plus 1, which is also here -1 plus 1. So you can clearly see that you'll have 0 divided by 0, which you'll get undefined. So you don't want to find your final answer as undefined. So what you can do, a trick that you can do here, is to try to factorize your numerator and see if you can cancel with your denominator. So always, the questions that they give you, they make sure that they always cancel. So we need to factorize our numerator first, which is x cubed plus 1. How do we factorize x cubed plus 1? So this, we can use the method that we learned in grade 11, and that is the SOAP method. So the SOAP method, so S means same, and then O means, okay, O means opposite, and then A means all, and then P means positive. Okay, I'll show you an example how the SOAP method works, right? So if you have your cubic expression just like this, A plus or minus, it can be plus, it can be minus, okay? And then how do you solve this? So using the SOAP method, so if it's positive, right? If it's positive, okay, so we'll take the first assumption. If it's positive, so what you do, you always cube your A cube. You find your cubic root, and then your B cubed, you find your cubic root as well. So when you find your cubic root for your A cube, it will be A, and then your cubic root for your B cube, it will be B, right? So we're not writing the signs now, we'll write the signs after, right? And then for the other one here, so in order for you to get A cubed, you need to have A squared. And then in order for you to have B cubed, you need to have B squared, right? So the middle part doesn't change, right? It's always A, B. So you times these two, A, B. So it's always A, B here. So it doesn't change. So how do I apply the same method, the SOAP method here? Okay, so for the sign, the first sign here is the same. So if it's positive, in this case, it's positive. It means the sign here, when we factorize this, it has to be positive. And then the second sign here, the blank one here, it's opposite. So this is positive. So it means here we'll have a negative sign. And then all positive. So it means that the last one here it's always positive. So it's instead of all here, it's always positive. Okay, so this is always positive. The last one is always positive. And then if you have a negative in this case, so you can apply the same rule that you applied there. So you'll have your A minus B, right? You are taking minus B because the first one has to be the same, right? So this is negative, now it will be negative here. And then this, okay, this is always a B here, and then B squared. Okay, so for your second sign, it has to be what? It has to be opposite. So we have a positive here. I mean negative here. It means we'll have a positive here. Okay, and then the last one is always positive. So the last one will be always positive. Okay. All right. So that's how you can factorize this. So in this case, what do we have? We have our x cubed plus 1. How do we factorize x cubed plus 1? So we'll just quickly look here. X cubed plus 1. How do we factorize this? So using this method, now we're having a positive here. So the first method that we do, right, we need to cube this x cubed here. So it will be x, right, and then cube root of this 1 here. So it will be just 1. Okay, so let's not write the signs yet. We'll write the signs later. Okay, and then the other here we'll have what? We'll have our x squared, because for us to get x cubed, we need to multiply x and x squared. So it has to be x squared here. And then to get our 1, it means we'll also have 1 here, because 1 and 1 will give us 1 here when we multiply them. Okay, and then the positive 1 is always we times our x and then our 1. So here it will be x. So x times 1 is always x. So when it comes to sign, so we use our soap. So the first one is what is the same. So since we are having a positive here, it means we'll also have a positive here for our sign. And then the second one, it's opposite. So it means the one blank sign here that is opposite. So it has to be minus. So since we had a positive, it has to be minus. And then the last one is always positive. So always positive. That's the last one. So that's how we can factorize this expression here. So we can just write it here. Okay, so it will be, okay, let me just get rid of this. So we have our x plus 1 x squared minus x plus 1, and then we are dividing by what? X plus 1. Okay, so we can quickly see that we have x plus 1 on our numerator and x plus 1 on our denominator. So we can just quickly cancel this, and then what we can do next, so now we can apply our limits, right? So if we apply, so all the time we need to make sure that the limit, we don't get rid of it. So since we are still simplifying this, we don't get rid of our limit. So our limit, we just put it there. So the moment we substitute our limit, right, now we no longer write lim x tend to negative 1. So it will be in the place of x, now we apply our limit. So we just put negative 1 squared, and then also here in the place of x, we just put negative 1 and then plus 1. So now we can compute and find what our answer will be. Okay, so negative 1 squared, we know it's 1, and then negative times negative, we know it's plus 1, and then plus 1. So our final answer here, if we check, so 1 plus 1 plus 1, it will equal to 3. So that's your final answer. Okay, and then looking on the next question, which is number C, this one. So to solve number C, we need to also apply the limit that we applied. So, okay, so number C is this one here. So in a place of x, we just put, in a place of x, we just put 0, because we can see the limit x approaches 0, right? So this we can just simply substitute, and we're not dividing by anything. We don't have to worry about finding an undefined number, okay? So we can just substitute. In the place of x, we just put 0, we square this, and then 2, we just put 0 in the place of x, right? So our final answer will be this is 0, and then this will be 0. So our final answer will be 0, okay?